Hello and welcome back to Irma Sofra. Today I'm going to be showing you a perfect recipe just in time for pepper season. These are my creamy cheese stuffed peppers, so stay tuned for my recipe and method. So to begin, I've just got back from the store. I've washed my peppers thoroughly. Now, when you're going to go pick your peppers, make sure that you're working for this specific recipe. Make sure you're working with smaller sizes. They're just nicer when it comes to serving. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to wash them thoroughly, and then I'm going to take the inside and I'm going to cut the inside out and make sure I have nice hollow space, making sure I get all of the seeds out as well. Now, I'm just working with regular gypsy peppers. You can also work with spicy peppers, like a spicy banana pepper works wonderfully with this dish if you like your sauce to be spicy. And this recipe isn't really a recipe, it's more of like the method or the technique that I use to make these. So again, don't be expecting like an exact measurement kind of recipe. This is going to be a recipe that goes based on your personal likings, and my personal likings won't be the same as yours. The next thing I'm going to do is once my pepper is nice and cleaned out, I'm going to go in with some salt, just a couple sprinkles of salt, and I'm going to add the salt into the hollow pepper. What that's going to do, it's going to dehydrate the pepper, so we're going to get a lot of liquid that's going to come out. We're going to let these peppers sit for roughly 3 to 4 hours. You can let them sit overnight if you like. I didn't really have enough time, but 2 to 3 hours, 3 to 4 hours, that's totally fine. You'll see there's a lot of liquid that comes out of them once we do this technique. So again, just a couple sprinkles of salt in the hollow pepper. Alright, so everyone does this differently. What I do is I mix together feta cheese, sour cream, and cottage cheese for the filling, and then I make a heavy cream sauce that's going to be on top. So I take 3 pounds of cottage cheese, 3 pounds of sour cream, and roughly 2 cups of feta cheese that is not washed, so the brine is still on it, and I mix that until everything is well combined. So I add in everything together and then I mix it and then I begin adding my salt. The reason is because the feta is also very salty because of the brine. So I like to start slow. So I add in everything, I taste it. I know obviously there's not going to be enough salt, and then I begin to add my salt. Now, personally, if I were to make an estimate, I did probably 2 heaping teaspoons of salt altogether. That's an estimate though. But what you want to do is you want to taste it every so often. Add some salt, taste it, add some salt, taste it, and just kind of see where you're at. You don't want this to be overly salty where you can't enjoy it. You want there to be enough salt in it though where the dairy and the peppers don't go bad very quick. Okay, so you have to keep that in mind. It should be flavorful, but it shouldn't be too overly salty, if that makes sense. Alright, so I get my jars at the dollar store. I like to use plastic instead of glass, and the only reason why is because the opening right there is a lot wider than the glass ones, and it's just because I hate having to like squeeze my hand into the glass jar to make the peppers stand up straight. You're going to fill your peppers, and then you're going to the best that you can. You want to make a nice tight space, and you want them all to be standing up because obviously we don't want our filling to be leaking out into the jar. So make sure that they're all standing up. You'll see what I'm talking about. And I try to put 4 to 5 together so that it's nice and tight. And that's pretty much it. Just fill them up until you've used up all of your filling. And then if you have some peppers left over, you can just saute them up or use them for another recipe. Little side note, last year when I made peppers, I couldn't find spicy banana peppers. I made them a little late in season. So what I did is I took some jalapenos, literally just like maybe 1. I took the seeds out. I did it like a rough dice, so just like big chunks, and I put them in the jar as I was filling them up for a nice kick. My kids obviously don't like spice, and a lot of people in my family don't, so I didn't do that this year, but that's another great option if you can't find spicy banana peppers and you want this to be a little spicy. And here I'm just showing you how I have them. So I have 4 of them perfectly. It's nice and tight. So again, they're not going to be able to fall. And then I'm just going to keep stuffing the peppers until I fill up the jars. In total, I had 2 medium-sized jars. And then I used the sour cream and the cottage cheese, those plastic containers, because they were like perfect sizes. And then we're going to make the sauce that's going to cover them. That's absolutely phenomenal. So I roughly have a cup left of the filling. What I'm going to do is begin to make my sauce. I add in 7 to 8 cups of heavy cream. I use the half-gallon heavy cream cartons that you get at Costco. I bought 2 of them. So I use one whole one and then half of one if you don't want to use measuring cups, but that's roughly like 7 to 8 cups. I'm going to add that to the remaining filling. I'm going to add another cup of sour cream and salt. You don't see that on camera, but I added in, making sure we're salting it, but we're not overdoing it, just like with the filling. And then I'm just going to cover my peppers until they're completely saturated in the sauce. This is the recipe that I grew up eating and my mom makes year after year, and I helped her making it growing up. So this is the recipe that I love and my family now loves. If you guys want to see the other recipe where it's just sour cream and cheese, I'll be more than happy to film that. So comment down below and let me know if you guys want to see that recipe as well. Alright, very last thing is make sure you just take a clean paper towel, wet it, and then just clean around the outside of your jars, making sure that everything is nice and clean. And then the very last thing, and probably the most important thing you need to do, is you need to press down and give pressure to your peppers. Some people use like those little plates for like coffee, like Turkish coffee. Mine won't fit in there and I really don't want to use a plate. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take, this is what I do every year, I take a kebab stick and I make sure that it's just touching the outer rim of that jar, and then I press it in very gently so that, you know, it doesn't like the sauce doesn't go all over me. And then I just press it in gently, making sure that those peppers are completely submerged in that sauce. And that's probably one of the most important things, giving that pressure and making sure that everything is just nice and tight in there. And just about 3 days later, because I really wanted to get this video out before you guys made your peppers, I opened my jar up and they are absolutely phenomenal. They are great. Give them at least 2 weeks before you open up your jar because you really want that pepper and the cheese to combine together. And they're good for up to 3 months if they can last that long. Mine are gone within like the first 2 months though, because they're that good. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please be sure to subscribe to my channel, like this video, and I will see you guys next time.